Hey guys, it's Mana here. We're back with more Lucid9. My webcam, my face cam, whatever you want to call it, it's not fixed, but it's not as bad as it was, I think. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe the next update for the software I use will fix it. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. I turned the frame rates down as far as the game capture goes because I don't really need 60 frames per second for a visual novel because there's not a lot happening. So I turned that down hoping that would help. Not sure if it's doing a whole lot. So I guess we'll find out. When we last left off, oh goodness, what were we doing? Oh yes, we were at the subway station and Soji fell in front of the subway train. And we're not sure if Yahiko was trying to stop him from jumping in front of it or if Yahiko pushed him in front of it. But Yahiko's been arrested. I'm in the process of putting on my chapstick as I explain this because my lips are suddenly very dry. Let's see. And we passed out and we finally found out why Yama hates the bus and hates rivers. So yay. It was a very sad episode. I know I didn't have face cam on, but I actually started crying. Don't know if you guys could tell, but I was crying, so that was sad. So please, game, don't break my heart anymore. I can't take it. I can't. So let's jump back in. Anger burns from my stomach to the tips of my fingers. I'm seized by a wild urge to grab something, anything, and smash it against the ground. But anything I look at, I can't bring myself to break. I glance out the window. Ruri's already heading out the gate. I toss on a light jacket and tear down the stairs, grinding to a halt at the gate and making a sharp turn to the opposite gate. The only way to expel this is a walk. A nice, long, preferably death-inducing walk. I break into a run as the cold air hits my face. I was fine. I was perfectly fine. Ruri was the one who freaked out. She always been that way. Always nagging me, always giving me a hard time. She felt excluded? Who was the person who went home yesterday? Who was the person who never talked to me? Who was the person who made me run around the Isamu forest thinking that she'd been brutally murdered? I just can't take it anymore. Any of it. I close my eyes and pick up my speed, feeling the wind blister my face. My lungs plead for air, my heart is throbbing painfully against my chest, but I don't bother stopping. Here we go. District 6. The dead of the night. Perfect place for an ignorant, thankless lowlife like me. Damn it. I drop against the wall, fighting for breath. A couple shady figures eye me from the alleyways, but when I meet their gaze, they turn away. I wouldn't mind a fight. I honestly wouldn't. Feel good, maybe. Cathartic. A good old fist to the face. Maybe I'd die. I'd deserve it. I shouldn't have said those words. It didn't matter that I was angry. It didn't matter that I felt unjustified. Ruri didn't deserve words like that. Not when she's been by my side. Not when she's been my only friend. It just hurt. Even she acknowledged that I couldn't do anything correctly. She was supposed to support me. To believe in me, right? Pinged, unknown. Haru? Why would he be pinging me? How did he get my number? How is his number in my phone? Is this part of a lapse I don't remember? Maybe he set his caller ID to be public, but that's strange to say the least, especially for a student. And why is he in District 6? I cautiously follow the indicator, keeping to the shadows as I approach. I rounded the corner of the denoted alleyway, but... What? No, not now. You're a coward. Haru's dead. We'll see about that. Shouldn't even be here. No, really? Don't you dare tell anyone. Why not? Look, no one can know about this. Scared someone will find out? All this time, I should have known. Why? Why? I jolt awake, frantically clinging to my bedpost. My vision is still swimming, my mouth dry with the bitter aftertaste of anxiety medication. What? No, of all the times. It had to be then. I squeeze my eyes shut in a vain attempt to recall the images that have just passed my retinas. But they're already gone. What happened? Why did I see a mutilated body? Why did I see Yahiko? What did I talk about? What the hell happened? I struggle to roll out of bed, but my limbs are frozen with terror, plastered to the sheets beneath my racing heartbeat. You're a coward. Who was that? Who said that? Why did they say that? How did I... No. I seize my phone, looking through the messages, my calls, anything, a clue, a hint, a status update. I only find an email. Crimson Crusade at Lemon Post. If you happen to find yourself in the midst of many strange events, don't worry. There are many who believe in you. Don't forget who you are, and don't forget who you are not. Ah yes, the mystery emailer. The one who only started contacting me the night after my first lapse in years. The one who seems to know exactly what I'm facing, even though I don't know who they are. What a convenient response. It's almost as if it's exactly what I need to hear. I shut my phone, tossing it as far away from me as possible. Who am I during these lapses? The doctors, of course, have their own answers. It's just an unusual brain injury from the accident. You'll suffer brief lapses during times of stress when your memory is transitioning from short to long term. Wouldn't change anything about you, they said. You're still yourself, they said. It's just a little memory blip, they said. Maybe they were paid to tell me that. After all, no one wants to hear that they could have an uncontrollable alter ego who might very well be a serial killer. Huh. That sounds like, my soul to take. The father had multiple personalities, and one of them was a serial killer. And when he tried to turn himself in to lock up the other personality, the personality killed him. Fun. Can't trust anyone. Can't even trust myself. What am I doing while I think I'm sleeping? I lie still, fighting to keep my mind steady as I survey my next course of action. What do I do? Record myself? Confine myself? Report myself? What can I do if I find out that I might be the very person I'm trying to track? It's not possible, is it? Sounds ridiculous, like a half-baked plot from a second-hand book. Stupid, irrational, impossible. Just like me these past few days. Maybe I should just go to school. I can only snort at the thought. Shallow, ditzy little school where I'll receive homework assignments on calculus problems and how Mayor Inori has saved Isumu and 1,000 other things that mean nothing when people are dying every day. Still, if I lapse at school, maybe someone will catch me. Maybe we'll find out once and for all. Besides, it's not like I have anything better to do. Can we go see Mr. Ryuta? Might be a good idea. It only takes me a moment to get dressed and wolf down a quick breakfast. The food is sour in my stomach, but I force myself to keep it down. Contrary to the past few days, the entrance is packed with students. It's practically impossible to weave my way through. I peer through the crowd of heads and catch a brief glimpse of red hair that slowly plods away. Threads of whispers shot in rapid fire at the sight. Again? They say Haru went missing, and Soji ended up passing away. Yeah, I saw the news. Can't believe it. I can. We should have expected it the moment we saw them talking to Irie. Do you really think she'd do that? No wonder these girls are angry at Irie. But, guys, isn't this getting a little out of hand? They even edged her this time. Egged her, sorry. You think we're too hard on her? Midori, Toma, Akane, now Soji and Haru? How high does the body count have to get before you start believing us? But she wasn't even involved with... You're not taking the side of that bitch, are you? Look, an adult had to step in and take your group to the principal's office. That doesn't make them look any better. Hey, no fighting. I'm shoved to the side as Masato breaks through the crowd, his jaw taut with suppressed anger. The students immediately quiet down, watching eagerly for another display with their phone cameras primed for patter. All of you better quit your yapping and scram. Your little chit-chat ain't doing a thing. Despite the fact that he's the president of the Honor Society, the students know enough about Masato to not start anything. They quickly disperse into the courtyard. Masato turns to look at me. I'm hit with memories that I try to forget. The argument at the canal, the bitter fight with Rui. It's amazing what 24 hours can do. All those encounters seem so distant. Masato curls his lower lip in disgust and strides away. It socks me right in the stomach, speaking before I know it. Masato. He lifts an eyebrow at me, but his body's tense with anger. I'm sorry, I don't know what I did. I want to know why you're so mad. I don't understand. But Masato cuts me off, wrapping his fingers in the end of his jacket until his knuckles turn white. If you're gonna take something from someone, man, at least take care of it. What? That was the last thing that I was expecting to hear. Get to class. He storms past me and disappears into the classroom building. I'm only left bewildered, and even more alone than before. He's talking about Rui, Yama. He's talking about Rui. This time, I've really got no one. I force myself to plod to my chair. The stairwells and hallways are congested with nauseating, frivolous gossip that makes me shake my head. This is disgusting. I'm just about to slip into the classroom when a jolt of movement in the hallway catches my eye. Mr. Ryuta has just opened the door to the principal's office, through which a number of students are filing. His face seems unusually burdened, the most solemn that I've ever seen it. Jiro. 5 of them, bullying, cornering the Hiraga girl. Again? You don't understand, Principal. Are you really fine with a murderer running around campus? What, throwing some kids with potty mouths under the bus to cover for her? Look, you guys will address the principal with respect, and you will listen to what he has to say. Next time I see you tossing around that kind of attitude, you'll be packing your bags. Understood? I've never heard him sound so harsh. The students instinctively step back, like he's emitting some dark aura. Mr. Ryuta, how can you say that when Haru's gone? Haru Banya? Gone? What? You didn't know? He's been gone since last afternoon. He didn't even come back to the school for curfew. But Haru's a smart kid. Didn't he know to stay? What does it matter? Midori and Toma and Akane, they were inside the school after curfew, but they disappeared anyway. Inside, outside, it doesn't matter. We're doomed. She bursts into tears as Mr. Ryuta is frozen in place, looking strangely awkward. Bring him in, Jiro. I'll handle it from here. Mr. Ryuta wordlessly steps aside, watching the students file into the principal's office. When the last student has entered, he shuts the door, sighing heavily. I step forward to greet him, but something halts me in my tracks. Students from this very school, gone. Yesterday a death on the subway tracks, now Haru Banya joins the ranks. I can't trust myself. How can I possibly trust anyone else? I feel like we should trust Mr. Ryuta. But then again, I also thought we should have trusted somebody else in another game, and that ended badly, so... you know. But I never even finished that game on here, so... moot point. This It's got to be the stress getting to me. But I see every familiar face as a potential enemy, a puppeteer in the shadows, moving all the chess pieces into place. Mr. Ryuta, something about him seems unbearably ominous, surrounded by death. Am I the killer? Is the killer someone close to me? Or is the killer a complete stranger? Everyone is a possibility. Mr. Ryuta is intelligent, flippant, and when he needs to be, ruthlessly efficient. Then he notices me awkwardly standing in the hallway, twiddling my thumbs. Well, if it isn't my favorite delinquent. He's searching my face. I attempt to mask my expression. I can't show anything, not now. Hey, Mr. Ryuta. I decide not to mention the scene that I just witnessed. Maybe it's better if he doesn't know. Kid, you've got bags for days going on under your eyes. Have you been sniffing all night? What? Did he seriously just say that in the middle of the school? No, I was finishing some stuff up last night. I see. You sure you don't want to talk about it? I've talked to him about my past. I'm supposed to trust Mr. Ryuta. I don't know. We've got some time before class starts. It's up to you. Wouldn't it be better to run my thoughts by him? He has information about the students that I could never get otherwise. Okay. Your office? We slip into Mr. Ryuta's office without any hesitation. Mr. Ryuta settles behind his desk. He's still eyeing me closely. Maybe he trusts me about as much as I trust him. You're really different today, Yama. What's bothering you? Do I really look that haggard? I thought I put up a passable front. That obvious? Once upon a time, kid, I was also a student. Pulled all-nighters for exams just like you. Except this doesn't seem like it's related to an exam. Exams are the furthest thing from my mind at the moment, that's for sure. Mr. Ryuta, about the murders. He frowns at my question. You're still interested in that? It's difficult to keep my composure up, but I managed to look him straight in the eye. Please, just if you could answer just one question of mine about it. I can see the reluctance in his gaze, but after a long moment, he finally relents with a silent nod. You said that the victims all had some kind of psychological problem. Could you look up their connections with... It's just a shot in the dark. I don't even know if the killer is someone who I've met in person, but I've got to see if they have any relationship with... Oh... The connection... We already know the connection with Irie. Everyone's talked to her before disappearing. So let's ask about Yahiko, since, the whole incident with the train, and the fact that we saw Haru's dead body in the alley, and Yahiko, who I thought was in custody. Someone started a club for depressed and troubled students. It was called the Happy Club, and I thought that it had the stupidest name in existence. But that club was for depressed and troubled students. Students with psychological problems. Is it really just a coincidence? Is there anything between the victims and Yahiko Ikari? Yahiko? Like dumb blonde friend Yahiko? Have you gone crazy, kid? What the hell would that ditz have to do with these crimes? Just, can you look it up, please? I hate this doubt. Everyone in my sight is being painted as a potential target. Irie, Mr. Ryuta, Yahiko, even myself. I just need to find proof that I'm wrong. Right. Well, you're a weird one, kid. His fingers fly over the tablet. I see its surface flashing in a myriad of colors like strobe lights at a concert. Then he freezes and drops the tablet. It hits the floor with a shrill clatter. I instinctively wince, almost expecting it to shatter into pieces. What? What the? Gingerly, I stoop forward and pick it up. The screen is a mash of information, tidbits from the school records, pattern feeds, and photos from Instacam. A group picture of a bunch of teens hanging out at a park, faces tagged as Yahiko Ikari, Akane Tsukino, Soji Hasegawa, and Haru Banya. A matching pat from Yahiko announcing the very first meeting of the Happy Club. An update from the roommate of Midori Maino, claiming that Yahiko was harassing Midori with the most horrible pickup lines, and she doesn't even like the chocolate. A picture of the orientation groups before school started, including Toma Hayashi as part of Yahiko's orientation group. He'd led orientation? No, never mind that. What is this? Some conspiracy? It's like the universe was just waiting for me to dig into Yahiko Ikari so that it could flood me with information that couldn't possibly be coincidental. The common thread is Yahiko. No, this is ridiculous. I reject this reality and substitute my own. Thank you for the Mythbusters reference. Well, I mean, maybe there's someone else in common. But there's a trend that I can't ignore. And even worse, each victim is getting progressively closer to Yahiko. Mr. Ryuta, if this is true... I looked at Mr. Ryuta, but he's only staring at the floor. Uncharacteristic shock etched all over his face. Mr. Ryuta? Huh? Oh, sorry. You know how sometimes you get so focused on something that, well, you kind of forget everything else? Does that happen to you? Often. Not you? You seem pretty fixated on the idea that Yahiko Ikari is related to the murders. You're not serious, right? I don't know. Everything seems like a possibility. It's as if I was stuck in a dark room with only vague shapes and sounds, feeling my way around, and then someone turned on the floodlights, leaving weird spots in my vision that have to be hallucinations, but somehow aren't. Just the bell, kid. Guess you'd better get to class. Class. We're on the verge of discovering something vital about the killer, and I have to go to class. No, I should go. More than anything, I need to cool down. Give my mind time to process the shock. Bye, Mr. Ryuta. Take care, kid. That word has always vexed me. Siddle, I slide out of the office and race down the hall, my mind still hazy with thoughts. There has to be another explanation. I must have missed something. Maybe I just shouldn't think about this until later? When I arrive, I notice that Yahiko's already in his chair. When did you get out of jail? You were arrested, man. When did you get out? I know your family's rich, but damn. I instinctively freeze when I see him. Worry's still fresh in my mind. But wait, didn't Rui say that Yahiko had been arrested? After the subway accident, hadn't he been taken under suspicion of Soji's death? And yet, I saw him in District 6 last night. I definitely ran into Yahiko Ikari, and we definitely had some kind of conversation. True, a lot of time passed because of my lapse. There were a good number of hours between the subway accident and the alley accident. But still, is it possible for someone to be released that quickly? Did he use his personal connections? Did he call on his parents to bail him out? No, I'm thinking about this the wrong way. He must have been released because they found out he was innocent. Maybe bureaucracy isn't as insufficient as I thought. Maybe the case was finished because it was urgent. Yeah, as if that's likely. No, stop thinking about this. This is crazy. I temporarily shut my thoughts out and slip into my chair. Yahiko seems to be browsing through a patter feed. Ah, wait, we talked yesterday, back in District 6. It didn't seem like any ordinary conversation either. Are we on good terms, neutral terms, bad terms? From my memories, I'd guess that the encounter was negative. If I act strangely, he'll find out about my lapses. What do I do? Then again, he's got someone's death weighing on his mind. Someone who he knows. If he was an innocent witness, he'd be traumatized. He'd be different. How exactly do I act with someone who... Why, hello, my good minion. Yeah. I jerk backward, but he only grins brightly, waving his hand in front of my face. Feeling a bit under the weather? No worries. I have some coffee straight from Buckstar Coffee House. He thrusts an insulated cup at me. I peer through the lip. Sure enough, I see thick caramel liquid that froths in a warm whirlpool. Hesitantly, I take the cup. The heat caresses my cold hands. Is it poisoned? My mind supplies. I shut it down. Oh, no need to thank me. I'm naturally this generous. A sharp chill runs down my spine. Is it possible to act so natural after seeing someone die? After seeing blood, tasting blood, hearing blood? Why is he grinning? Why is he acting like nothing happened? I don't know Soji that well, and even now, Yahiko? Hey, sounds like that warning bell. I'm gonna chat with Misaki. And I'm all out of time, guys, so I'm going to end it here. We will catch up and see what happens. Remember to do something nice for a stranger today. You may just save a life. Bye!